Well, we are here with Tim Taylor at Wealth Patriots for our April Caregiver 411. So take it away, Tim.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on. I'm going to share my screen here just a second, and you might recognize this slide because of some of the things that SOAR talks about and the points that they really want to focus on, because every parent, whether or not you have a special needs child or whether or not you just have a child of your own that doesn't have special needs, parents always want to know, who's going to take care of my children? Are they going to be okay? Who will take care of them if I'm gone? Who's going to take care of me? And we're going to talk about some of these things tonight on basically budgeting inside the biblical way. And just want to introduce myself. Again, Tim Taylor. I have roughly 40 years in the industry. I've worked with folks helping them get out of debt anywhere from $150 to $1.5 million in debt. I've been able to help people get out of debt. I'm pretty good at finding money when I have to. I'm also a certified federal employee retirement specialist. That's a special title that I have because I'm able to work with federal and military employees. Their finances are different. So I'm able to do that. I'm a certified financial coach. I'm happily married to my beautiful bride. I have 4 beautiful daughters and 10 grandchildren that I love dearly. When the call goes out and I hear Papa, my superhero, that's my superhero name. I enjoy spending time with them. And so it says there that when I'm not spending time with my family, I love to be in the woods. Actually, my office faces the woods. I'm in a bay window right here. I actually look out. I see deer. I see coyotes. I see everything right out my office window. So I'll try not to look to the side at something if something happens to walk by. But there's a couple things, we set out for life and we think our plan is going to look like this. It's going to be a smooth ride. It's going to be everything that we need, when in reality, it looks more like this. We think sometimes it's never going to end. So I want to ask a question. Keep it to yourself, but just answer these questions to see if this is something that you really need to do. Is there an increased percentage of your income going towards paying down debt? Is your savings cushion inadequate or non-existing? Are you near or at the limit of your lines of credit? Can you only make the minimum payment on your revolving credit accounts? Are you often late on your bill payments? Are you paying bills with money earmarked for something else? Are you using your credit to pay for items you used to buy with cash? If you lost your job, would you be under an immediate financial strain? And are you sure about how much you owe? And then the last one, I have to unfortunately move the tag here because I can't even see it myself. Are you being threatened by collectors with possible legal action? If you answered yes to just one of those, you really probably need to take note, and we probably need to talk in regards to making sure that you have a budget. So when we go about getting started, there's really 3 key points that we need to look at. And to be able to do it in a biblical way, the first thing is discipline. Self-discipline is doing what is needed to be done when it needs to be done, even when you don't even feel like doing it. And just like with anything else, dieting, exercise, breaking a bad habit, starting a good habit, it all takes discipline, even if you don't feel like doing it. I'm going to be honest with you. I would love to drop 60 pounds. Sometimes I don't have the discipline to put the chips down. You give me candy or you put candy out, I'll walk right past it. Chips are not, it's my menace. The next is you got to have a written budget. It has to be written out. 99% of all failures come when people who have a habit of making excuses. You don't need to make excuses. Write it out. I will tell you right now, the first 3 months that you do a budget, you're going to fail. Now, it's not that I have the gift of encouragement there. And what I'm trying to tell you is the moment you write it out, you try to get it situated, what's going to happen is you're going to have one of those months. Tags are due, hot water heater goes out, maybe need new tires, or, people start, well, I'll start, you know, next month. Well, next month has 3 birthdays and a couple of baby showers that you weren't expecting. And now all of a sudden you're turning around and you're paying extra money out. There's never a good time to start. There's always a bad time. It's when you don't. So write it out, get it written out, and go from there. And then you need to be held accountable. An accountability partner can perceive what you can't see when there's blind spots or there's weaknesses. And such a person serves as a tool in God's hands to promote spiritual growth, and they watch out for you in their best interest. It's not a lack of money that creates a financial pressure many times. It's simply a matter of your attitude. What's your attitude? If there is a right attitude towards money, freedom from financial bondage is going to be achieved. Again, if I have the right attitude and I have the discipline, I'm going to lose the 60 pounds I want to lose. Okay. The one thing that you got to get in mind is transferring ownership over to God. You are the steward and the manager of what God has given you. And I know sometimes, we all talk about, give the first 10%. Well, that 10% is correct, but the other 90% is just as much his. We're just a good steward and a manager of it. And the moment we realize and we get to that point that he owns it all, it gets a lot easier to be able to deal with it. And then again, there is many ways to get into debt, but there's only one way of getting out. And again, it goes back to self-discipline. So I want to really focus on a couple of these things. I'm going to show some other things here in a minute. But Proverbs 27:12, prudent person foresees dangers and takes precaution. The simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. Again, if you transfer the ownership of every possession over to God, allow no more debt. Don't go into debt. Cut up the credit cards. Control the things that you're doing. Again, go back to that accountability. Develop a realistic, balanced budget. Now, I say realistic. I tell folks every time that I work with them on a budget and I get anything with them, you got to have a little bit of lenience. You got to show yourself grace because things are going to happen. And like I said, the first 3 months, you're going to fail. And that's okay. Because what's going to happen is you're going to set the budget. Something's going to happen. It's going to change. You're going to readjust it the second month. By the third and fourth month, things start calming down. We start really getting a hold on things. And the moment you turn around and you start retiring debt, like it says, start retiring debt at the bottom, number 4, you need to rejoice in those things. You need to celebrate. Little by little, as you chip away, it's basically you're going to feel that freedom as it pops up. So steps to stay out of debt, again, develop a written plan, okay? When you do that, you need to write down everything that is coming in, every penny, or even down to the very penny. Don't round up, don't round down, don't guesstimate. What was it? If I turn around and I hire a CPA and every time they get a receipt from me, they're either rounding up or rounding down. I'm losing money. Somewhere I'm going to lose money. So have a written plan. Make sure that you keep control of those things. And I will tell you, 40 plus years when I went in to actually starting this in my own life, I went kicking and screaming. I'm a grown man. If I want to spend money on a soda, I don't have to write a receipt down. I don't want to do this. This is ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. But I will tell you, over the last 40 years, there's been at least twice in my life where I was somehow either out of work or unable to work for over a 5 to 6 month period of time. Now, stop and think about it, your own situation. If you were unable to work for 5 to 6 months, what would it do to you? In my situation, because I had a written plan, I knew where everything was, I knew what needed to be paid, how much money I had. By the grace of God, I never missed a payment. I was never late on a payment, and I got through it. And so have that plan, work that plan. The other thing is establish a tithe. I deal with a lot of single parents. I deal with a lot of folks that a lot of times have never established any sort of tithe. And I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of times I will challenge them and I'll tell them, do $1 a week. Now, when the offering plate goes by or whatever, don't put a 5 in and go, well, I'm covered for the month. No, it's the actual act of putting the money in every week, put $1 in every week. And when you get your statement at the end of the year and you see that you've been consistent all year long, it's going to be amazing. Because see, it's not so much that you put that $1 in. God really doesn't need your dollar, to be honest with you. What he wants is your heart. And so by establishing that, you're going to get to the point to where in time you're going to build up to the first 10%. Now, can you go, well, can I give more? Yeah. And as you grow, you probably will. And that's okay. Accept God's provisions, all that he has given you. You know, a lot of times we look at what somebody else has and we don't count the blessings we have. Excuse me. We may go, hey, I don't have 2 nickels to rub together. Well, I probably don't, but I have health that I can go out and I can work and I make a couple more nickels. I look at the 4 daughters that I have, the beautiful grandchildren that I have. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed. The children that God has given us, those are all provisions. Be thankful for them. Avoid indulgence. I like this statement when it says a luxury once enjoyed becomes a necessity. If I've never had a milkshake, I never desire a milkshake. The moment I have had a milkshake, guess what? Then I need it every night. That's what happens. A lot of times we turn around and Americans, we want to turn around and be very self-indulgent. We don't want to pass up on anything. We don't want to wait. Well, I want it now. Well, we need to avoid that. We also need to avoid snap decisions or impulse spending. Somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I can help you get out of debt. We got this get rich quick scheme. Run. I don't know of any get rich quick schemes that have ever worked or paid off. And usually what happens is snap decision or impulse spending, thinking I have to have it now, are bad decisions. Best thing to do, pray about each decision. If you have a spouse, talk it over with your spouse. You got to agree. When I work with couples on a budget, I work with both sides. If one's not in agreement with the budget, it's not going to work. So we need to make sure that both are on the same page, that we're working towards the same goal. Proverbs 21:5, Good planning and hard work leads to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. And money won't buy happiness, but poor stewardship of money will steal happiness. And then expenses rise to equal income. Have you ever gotten a raise and you thought, man, I'm actually made it to easy street, and then all of a sudden the expenses are just as much, and you go, what happened to my raise? I don't see it anymore. That's a lot of times because expenses rise to equal what the income is. Excuse me. So we basically teach holistic processes. Like I said, I help folks create a cash flow, help them to find the savings to get out of debt. Once they're out of debt, then we can look at possibly moving them forward into building wealth and possibly even helping others. A lot of times I've had people say, well, I can't go on mission trips, or I can't, I can't give in special offerings, or, I'd love to do more for folks, but I don't have it. But if you were out of financial debt, you could. And those are things that we work with folks about. We teach the clients how to provide themselves protection for all that they have. That kind of goes with a slide that I didn't put in here, but we turn around and show you how to protect. It's kind of like a house. You got the protection of the roof, you got the assets and the liabilities, those two things working for you, but then you got to have that cash flow as the firm foundation. So if you have questions, please look at my email, write my email down. I have a couple more things here that I'm going to show you here in a minute, that if you were to reach out to me and say, hey, can I get a copy of those forms, I'll be more than happy to send those over to you. If anybody has questions, that's my email, my office number. I'm always willing to talk to somebody. It doesn't cost you anything to talk with me, to get some information, to get on a budget. It's worth your while. So I'm going to stop sharing this a second, but then I'm going to, I'm going to come back here and share a couple other things. And these forms, if you go, well, you've talked about a budget, how do I do a budget? Well, that's great. These are the forms that I will be more than happy to send to you if anybody would like them. But basically, what you're going to do, I usually teach a class. It's about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours long. I really can't do it on here, but I walk people through their actual numbers, and you basically can put in what you make per year, per month. Net spending income is going to be after taxes and after tithe. That's going to be your net spending. And you go, well, how do I figure that number up? I can put in what my tithe is, what my taxes are. That's going to be my net spending for the year, or for the month, excuse me. We can fill out this form here, and you go, well, man, that doesn't seem like there's a whole lot. But if you'll notice, there's roughly 14 slots here. If we go to the next page, it gets a little more detailed. And guess what? There's 14 slots here. This all matches up, because all of a sudden you go, well, what's housing? Well, it's either your mortgage or your rent. It's insurance. It's taxes. It's the electrical, gas, all the things that fall under the housing. You have food. Automobile is more than just your car payment. You got to put gas in it. You got to have insurance. You got to have maintenance. Now, and some of these people go, well, I don't have life insurance. I may, by the time I fill this things out, I don't get to go out and eat. I don't go on vacation. Okay, there's going to be some zeros here. I will tell people when I'm working with them on a budget, you need to put a little bit per month in clothing. I don't have a choice to go out and buy new clothes. I've heard it all. Trust me. Well, I will tell you, that you do have to spend something on clothing, or you're going to move to a new colony where they don't wear clothes, because sooner or later your clothes are going to wear out. So unless you just you live or you're around some place that people just give you clothes, there needs to be a number here. There's going to be medical expenses. You go, well, I may be on assistant living of some sort. That's fine. There may still be a cost. Again, miscellaneous. All of these need to be filled out. I don't have any investments. Okay, that's a 0 for right now. School, is there any expense there? Daycare, anything? When it comes down to figuring this up, the total expense minus what your net expense spendable income is, it should be 0. If you got a positive number, you got more going out than what's coming in, and we have to adjust that. Once we get this figured out, once we start knowing what the actual numbers are, what we actually do then is we set up an individual account for each category that you have. You got 14 categories, you'd have 14 of these pages. And as you go through each transaction, just like you would on your bank account, you're going to put money into the account, withdraw, and it's going to be balanced. You do this over a few months, it will get to the point to where you have not only a written budget, but you're going to start seeing that you are chipping away at what debt you have. You're going to start seeing that as you get rid of one or two smaller bills and you actually take that money and actually apply it to other bills, you're going to see that it starts to snowball. And that works very well. The other thing I wanted to remind you, and a lot of times when people are filling these things out, they go, well, I got everything filled in here. I don't know where I'm going to save any money. Let me just read a couple of things here for you. If you were to stop buying 1 liter of soda a week for the whole month, that's roughly $14. That's $168 a month or year you can save. By bringing your lunch to work instead of going out and spending $5, $100 a month, that's $1,200 a year. I'll stay away from the coffee because I drank way too much coffee myself, so I don't want to step on toes. But I will tell you that I make my coffee. I do not go and buy coffee because it could be anywhere from $600 to $1,200 a year if you have to buy the special, foo-foo, venti, latte, what all. Just turning around and maintaining the minimum in my checking account and not dropping below could be $25 surcharge per month. It could save you $300 a year. Unfortunately, if things get tight and you accidentally bounce a check, one less bounce check of $30, $360 a year. You start adding these things up and people go, well, I'm spending a lot of money. Yeah, you are. Very much so. I will also tell you that when it comes to money and when somebody doesn't usually have a budget, a lot of times they struggle with their credit. I've been around credit for a long time myself. Just to let you know, if you were to be late, 130-day late, utility bill, anything that you're 130, car payment, credit card payment, 130-day late will affect your score by 70 to 100 points for up to 2 years. When you start getting to a point to where you're paying on time, and just to go back to being late, if it's due March 1st and you don't pay it till March 31st, technically you are 30 days late. Now, they're going to give you some grace. But if it's due on the 15th of March and you don't pay it until the 20th of April, you're 30 days late. And you've just got hit with a late charge and a late nick on your credit score. And you sit there and you go, well, what's my credit score really have to do with anything? If my credit score is usually below a 640 or less, I'm not going to get a loan on my home. If I try to go and buy car insurance, my car insurance is going to cost me more if I don't have a 720 or higher credit score. Well, I've never gotten those discounts before. Let's look at your credit score. Let's see where you're at. What are you doing? Because once you start becoming a good steward with your credit score, you're going to get rewarded for that also. So not only can you achieve having a better credit score, getting the discounts that you're looking at, but also turn around and getting to a point of being financially free. And now you're at a point to where you've taken that pressure off. We go back to the questions we asked of, well, how's my child going to be taken care of? Who's going to take care of? Who's going to help me? One less thing that you have to worry about when you get out of financial free, or you have that financial freedom. That's one less thing you have to worry about. When we get to the point of having a cash flow, there are ways of setting things up with insurance, with ILETs, which is basically a trust that we can put in insurance to make sure that down the road, God forbid something happens to you, your child can be taken care of. But if you're not able to make your monthly payments, you don't have a budget, you're not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing as a good steward in the first place, you're not even able to do those things. So we can answer those questions as we work on a budget. It's basically, who's going to help take care of my child? Well, actually, you can, by getting on a budget, getting the cash flow you need, and then we can move you forward into the wealth management and pick you up in that sense. I would love to take questions if anybody has questions.
Tim,
Doc,
I actually have a question that was sent in
good.
to share. So we'll call her Sue, just to kind of give her the privacy. Single mom with 3 children. She's in her late 50s, 3 kids, 2 of which have special needs. Limited income, has worked her rear end off to be debt free, but she's not really able to sock away and save or anything. And her concern with budgeting, when pretty much she's at that break even mark, everything that comes in is going out. She has very little extra to do. Her concern and question comes to, how do I plan for retirement? For me, and still be able to take care of my kids.
It's a tough situation. It's never good when there's more going out than coming in. In that situation, we'd have to look in the specifics of where we're at. Again, we may have to cut something. We might have to work around something. I will tell you, in a situation I was working with, and I'm getting to your answer here, but I was working with a gentleman and I was going to get him out of debt. And before we finalized everything, he goes, well, where's my Disney cruise? And I go, excuse me? And he goes, where's my Disney cruise? I take my kids on a Disney cruise every year. I said, you can't afford a Disney cruise. I'm sorry. That's why you're in the position that you're in. He goes, I don't want to do this if I can't do my Disney cruise. So we didn't do a job, or we didn't work together. And it was mainly because he wasn't willing to sacrifice. Now, in a situation to where a mom and dad have been sacrificing their whole life because of their children, their special needs children, we have to look at those situations. There are some things that, if they're a little bit of money, there are some things that we can do to set them up for retirement, to where they can put a little back each year, or each month if they choose, if they can do that. There are things that we can do, but it's really something that we just have to start going through the numbers, seeing where we're at, what we can do. But there are items and there are things that we can do. I will just tell you, Is somebody going to, in that situation, probably retire and move to the Riviera? Probably not. But everything helps down the road. So, anybody else? If not, Doc, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to do this again. It's Tim T at Wealth Patriots .com. It's actually wealth-patriots.com. If anybody would like to have those forms, Doc, I may just give them to you, and if they reach out, that's perfectly fine. If they want help working those, I'll be more than happy to talk with anybody and go from there. So,
All right. Well, Tim, thank you so much for sharing with us. This is a very important topic, and that we'll have our next talk again next month. I don't have it lined up yet. I'm working on a couple different ones, so it'll be coming. I'm actually in Orlando right now, so and I'm talking to some of my friends to see if they'll help cover some of the talks in the coming weeks. However, if you're listening to this tonight or in future weeks on Zoom, or excuse me, on YouTube, and you have a topic that you would like us to cover, um, please let us know. We'd love to know about that. And again, these are all going on YouTube. So if you're watching one now and like to see some of our previous, just catch them on there. I'll have again Tim's information all on there. But Tim, thank you so much. This is a very important topic, and parents, again, like I'll just stress again what Tim said. One of the best things that you can do for your kids is living within your means, and teaching your kids how to do that. Our kids today so many times just think, because they hear it from so many others that they can get whatever they want, and that's just not the way it is. And we need to be realistic, and we need to teach our kids how to live within that too. And our kids don't need to have everything.
right.
It's okay for them to learn how to get things on their own, and it's okay for them to earn their own money and to buy what they want themselves, and we'll give them that ability to learn how to earn something and to have it. And sometimes that's more meaningful to them. And it's amazing. I know with my daughter, when she realized, oh, she was going to have to work for it and pay for it, well, all of a sudden she didn't care for it that much. So it's amazing how that can
Doc,
change.
Doc, I can give you a great example. I was working with a single mom, had 5 children. I was just checking in with her. I'm asking her how things are going. And while I'm talking to her, we were on Zoom, and there's a knock on her door, and the kids come in. Mom, the ice cream man is outside. Can we have some money for the ice cream man? And she turns the computer around and says, "You ask Mr. Tim." And they just stuck their head down and walked out. Turns the computer back around to me, and she goes, "This thing is working great. I'm loving every bit of it." So she's done very well. But she had to, I heard one time, how did Michelangelo start, or how did he do the statue of David? One chip at a time. So
Yep.
there you go.
Yep. So and so that'll just perfect way to end on this. If you're watching this and you are in debt and you don't know how to get out of it, you have to start somewhere. So don't just keep doing it. I know we do our Christmas blessings every year, and we've got some families that we've helped, and that's why we're doing this talk, because some of the numbers that we see are so upside down. There's no hope of getting out of it. So it's learning priorities and seeing what you really have to have, and get help. Get someone like Tim who can really understand this and help you. Sometimes we need to get the emotion out of it. We have emotional attachment to a lot of things. someone like Tim, he doesn't have the emotional attachment to what you're dealing with. And so he can help you see realistically through what's going on and help you through all that. So again, Tim, thank you so much for being a part of us tonight and helping us out. Amy, thank you as always as well. And we'll see you all next month. So have a great month, everyone. Talk to you all
Take care.
later.
Thank you,
Bye.
Tim. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.